Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the number one way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
Welcome to the world of Saluna.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Queers and Spheres presents The World of Saluna Side Quest, Bottom 7. I am your modest game master, CJ, and today we jump back into the quest of the Sacred Seven. Last we left our heroes, they set off finally on their journey from Dornwich towards Tarnstead. Heading into the forest, some feeling more uneasy than others about the journey and what lies ahead as they go following R's lead as you go deeper and deeper into this. Let's go ahead and start with your second of third survival check. Who's going to be leading the party? R? Still?
Yes, I must redeem myself.
I will also offer the help action once more because it seems like we could use a little help up in the front.
Can I ask what you do to help?
I scream help at him very loudly. No. No, I like to think that Oriana tries to like run up beside and like survey the area with her insane perception skills to make sure that all is good.
Safety up ahead.
Safety is ahead. No danger will run.
You're like a walking like signs like ducks crossing. Watch out.
Yeah. Yes, I see all with my elven eyes.
All right, let's see. We're gonna do another survival check.
With advantage.
Don't forget the +1 from my aura.
So, I will let you know the first one was a 1, but the second roll
Thank God I'm helping.
was an 11 plus 4,
Yeah!
15.
Hell
So there
yeah.
we go. We're in the double digits now.
Yes, Playa.
This is why we help.
We are heading in the direction I am leading correctly.
Perfect. So,
Hey, CJ?
yes.
I got a 26. Do I know if we're going in the right direction?
With a 26, you know that you are heading north. It is leaning a little bit and it wavers sometimes, but it is generally north.
If I land a successful backflip, can I tell for
Oh.
sure that we're going the right way?
I need a nat 20 acrobatics check for you.
Okay.
Let's inspire me.
I'm still gonna try. Can it be athletics instead?
Yeah, if you want to go.
How poorly do you need to roll for one of us to get hit by very long legs?
Hold on, my dice just fell on the floor.
Because I feel like I'm going to get
It's
yeeted
fine.
by this.
It's not a good sign.
Just kicked in the face.
Okay, so that was not a nat 20, but it was a 14.
That's pretty good. You do a solid backflip, but you do kind of land very close to like Freya's toes.
And Cena looks at Freya and is like, "Sorry about that, darling. I just had to get that out of my system." Woo! Feel better now.
It's okay. My hooves would have taken it well.
That's fair. It's very fair.
Yeah.
That was also
Yeah.
a very nice backflip.
Oh, thank you. I've been
Yes,
practicing.
the towering over 8 foot tall Goliath does a backflip in the middle of the woods. And if no one's around to see it, does she still do it? So
Yes.
as you guys
Doesn't
are
make any noise.
doesn't make any noise. As you guys are journeying forward with a 11 plus 4 plus the 1 from Freya's aura is 16 in total. You
Oh, I forgot
journey
about
forward and you are heading north. The path starts to kind of fade as you get deeper and deeper into the woods. As you head and lead this party towards its destination, going farther and farther in, the woods start to change a bit. The flowers seem a bit more vibrant as you're getting deeper. The jungle seems thicker. The animals around you, they're scurrying. It seems louder, like the animals are larger than anything you've come across so far. And as you're journeying deeper and deeper, you're getting... This isn't an area of the woods that you've been before, but as you're journeying forward on a 26 to kind of keep check on your own terms, it's starting to feel like it's not 100% due north, and that things are starting to maybe R's confidence is speaking more than his guidance skills in this moment. As you all are journeying deeper, as the trees stand closer together, the trunks are larger than you can all reach around. You hear the birds flying above you. The canopy is blocking out most of the sunlight already, but you can tell that as you journey further and further, time goes on and on. The sun gets lower and lower. As you all are journeying out, will everyone make a perception check for me?
Yes.
Does Click Clack have any advantage being on Freya's shoulders?
Yeah, I'll let you have advantage for that.
Thank
Freya-
God, I got a 1!
Freya got a natural 20 for a 22.
Hell yeah.
And Cena got a good old 12 for perception.
Click Clack still did an 11, but it's better than a 1.
Good old
13.
better than a
I
1
got-
for sure.
A 10.
I feel like I've lost some of my powers
10.
breaking off my horn because I got a 6. I might need to ask Noe for that back.
No.
No, they hate me.
Oh goodness, the rolls aren't feeling R. And then
It's 7 with friggin' Freya.
I feel like I should almost pass along my luck stone to you.
love it.
Don't worry, my luck's gonna come around, I believe.
Maybe. Who knows?
And Cena's backflip has given me belief.
I believe in it.
I say, maybe I should, maybe Oriana needs to give you the gift she has in her bag for you.
As you all are wandering, looking around, making sure the path that you're on is the right path, as you all are heading into unfamiliar territory, all of you, including Xandar and Jezar, who are with you here, start to kind of hear above the noise and the clatter, birds around you, the animals, the megafauna that surrounds you in every crack and creek here in the woods. Hear some faint footsteps off in the distance that aren't your own. It's coming off from the right-hand side, maybe half a mile or so. Pretty close. You feel like If you go just off the path, not that far, figure out what it is.
From where I'm at, could I possibly... I'm not sure what check it would be, but can I just not necessarily investigate, but kind of see if I can pick up what I'm hearing? Besides the being footsteps, like maybe...
Brian, are you trying to pick up, like, identifying, like, trying to figure out if it is a large creature?
Yeah, and also see if it sounds like it's following us and not just traveling through.
Absolutely. So, I would say you can do either investigation,
Is there
or I
anything
could even
extra that I
say
get from a nat
survival could
20
be used
on
here
that,
as well.
or yeah.
Ooh, yes, that's right, a natural 20. On a natural 20 with this, you can identify that it is 2 pairs of footsteps, that they are smaller footsteps, so not megafauna, that they are not following, and they're just nearby heading in their own direction. But on a nat 20 as well, I would say that you can kind of hear some faint whispering, but you cannot pick up the words that are being spoken.
I think I would look at the rest of everybody and just say, keep moving forward. It doesn't sound like they're following us. But perhaps we can keep ourselves a bit quiet, because I don't think we're alone.
Sounds like a plan.
Right. Just keep moving.
I think at that point, I put Click Clack down and I take my glaive out just in case.
Okay. You all collectively decide to continue forward carefully, trying to not give yourselves away in any way, shape, or form. Do you have intentions on being
I
stealthy,
think Oriana
or
would want to
do you
maybe
want to just
be
continue
a bit
forward as
more
normal?
stealthy going forward. Just kind of maybe like be more cautious where she's stepping.
I think Freya would also.
Oh.
Hey, CJ, I have a question. So I have the spell Darkness. If I were to cast that around the group, would we not be able to see through the cloud of darkness, or would we just be covered by that darkness? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so I think it is going to kind of put you in a, like, it's basically setting off a, like, fog, you know, cloud around you guys. Like, you're not going to be able to necessarily see through it unless you have magical, like true sight, essentially.
Okay, that's fine. That's why I asked, because I didn't want to just cast darkness, and it's like, well, now you guys can't see shit. So good job. So I'll keep my darkness for another day.
I do have a question though. So I do have a spell called Shield, and now it technically is only supposed to go around me, but could I possibly, if I do it, I know it's not supposed to be at a second level, but if there's a way I can maybe use a second level spell slot to kind of expand it to go around the group?
Go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
Okay. That's gonna be a 16.
16. On a 16, you feel like you could stretch and expand the edges of what is magically plausible, but you know that great things also come with a cost, but you can't quite identify what the cost.
Then, being the kind of person she is, she wouldn't risk it, knowing that she's paid the price for many of costs already.
I think we should just stealth through. R's gonna prepare a spell in case, and I'll send you, CJ, the trigger, just in case this happens.
Now, I will have Oriana go ahead and ready her crystal rapier.
Mm-hmm. As you all gather your items, prepare magically what you want to prepare, or prepare a spell, prepare your weapons, prepare for whatever may be lurking around the corners as you tiptoe forward, trying to be as quiet as you can. As you all start to continue on the path, you turn a corner, passing a large trunk, seeing an open clearing where the sun is still just barely peeking through into this clearing in the land. And as you're looking out, you see two kids. Couldn't quite possibly be teenagers yet. Just walking hand in hand. What looks like east.
I'm sorry, what did you say that looked like they were eating?
They weren't eating anything. They were.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. They were heading west. They're heading east. Sorry. They're two kids holding hands. With a little bit more description, especially on some of the previous perception checks, with everybody's numbers in mind. From here, even looking at them, you can tell that they are thin, that the clothes that they wear very much drape their bodies and cover and hang. They do not fit them well. They look like their hair is kind of messy. They seem to be, even at this distance, caked in dirt. So anything you guys would like to do with this information?
Taste the dirt.
I know Oriana's going to probably step back because she does not trust random children in the woods. And I think she's going to look to Woe and say, Woe, you're from a foresty area. Do you know why two children would be just prancing around the woods like this?
It could be that they are on their trial and they must survive in the woods.
What is a trial?
Or overcome adversity.
DJ, can I insight them? I'm going to ask you specifically
Can I
what
taste
I'm
the mud?
looking for.
Absolutely.
To Mickey or me?
I'm sorry, Will, can you ask your question one more time?
I want to go just walk right up to one of those kids, taste the mud.
Oh, yeah, so you kind of depart from the party. You're absolutely welcome. You approach them. As you start to get closer, they turn to you, hearing your footsteps behind them. They freeze in fear. You can see the fear on their face as you approach them, and you just come and
As I approach them, I want to say in Sylvain, are you Faye?
they kind of cock their head a little bit at you, understanding.
In a way they understand or they don't?
They don't understand. My apologies.
Okay, then yeah. Is it normal mud?
Yes, it's normal mud. And as you taste it as well, there seems to be some particles and some pieces of, like, it seems like some of this is also got blood in it as well. And as these kids turn around and face Woe, therefore facing the party, even at this distance, I would like Click Clack and Encina to please roll an insight check.
I don't like this.
And can I do an insight also?
Absolutely.
I mostly just want to see if they're normal kids and if they're hurt.
Oh, good. All right, cool. I got Encina got a 21 insight.
Hell yeah.
I got 23.
Can I also insight?
Click Clack got an
Absolutely.
18.
So, Woe, these kids have some smaller injuries on them. They are not Fae. They seem to be normal children of mixed heritage. They have dark curly hair and dark brown eyes. The wounds on them, they have several wounds on them in various stages of healing. Some of the more recent ones seem to be not actively bleeding, but the wounds seem pretty, they don't seem to be phased by them. They're not, like, tending to their wounds in any way, shape, or form. They're just kind of letting them heal naturally as they are. And as they turn to face the party, Click Clack and Cena, it's been years since you've seen these kids. And that little boy sure has grown up.
Encina takes a very long moment, sort of looks to Click Clack, swallows a huge lump of something in her throat, and she walks forward very slowly and kneels down in front of them, and she just says, "Are you guys lost?"
They follow you with their eyes as you walk over. A shock is very, very visible on their faces as you approach. They seem to be wary of people, but as you get closer, the older girl seems to be about 12 now. Little Susanna's grown up so much, so beautiful now. You see a hint of recognition. And you can only imagine that the hand that she's firmly holding onto is the sweet little baby boy, her brother Finley. Nothing but babes when you last left the cult. Wandering by themselves out here, emaciated, covered in dirt, in scars, in wounds, deep bags under their eyes, hair astray everywhere, a mess in mats. And as you approach, you get down on one knee. You hear a muttering of a whisper. I speak for him, and he speaks.
Encina, and a chill runs up her entire body. And she can only assume if she can she hear what they're whispering?
Even if you could not understand each consonant as it came out of his mouth, you've heard this phrase enough times. You know the cadence by heart.
Yeah. Encina swallows once again and says, "Are you guys lost? Are you trying to get somewhere?"
Susanna looks at you with... Give me a little insight check. Just a little one.
Certainly.
Just 80.
Certainly. Just a tiny one.
A little one.
What's a tiny one? Okay. Okay, not too bad. We got a 12.
12. Even with a 12, you can kind of see a bit of recognition in her eyes. Maybe a long forgotten memory buried under what you can only assume is years of trauma. Maybe a glimmer of a remembrance of your face. As she just is like, away.
Yeah. Yeah. There are there's a glistening of tears in Sina's eyes, and she says, yeah, away. And she looks at Susanna and she says, if you're trying to escape, I can help. I'm not going to turn you in. I left long ago for that very same reason. I don't... It's been a long time, kid. I don't know... Casey, do you remember the name Casey?
She looks a little perplexed at the name. There are so few, yet so many that come through the cult that sometimes names, they blend, they're shared. Where you feel like maybe there's a moment that she might recognize it, but it might be the wrong type of recognition. You don't feel like she knows 100% who Casey is.
Honestly, Encina prefers it that way. And as she's still very softly speaking to Susanna, I think Encina is just not even scared, but racked with guilt to see these two kids the way they are. And she expounds on the thought that she had already proposed, and she says, I can help you. I can help you leave if you want. You don't have to go back to that place.
How can you help? What if they're following? They always threaten the follow.
I can help because I left before. It's been 5 years.
While this is happening, Click-Clack has also walked up, and he's just, gently placed one of his hands, on Encina's back, where she's kneeling down in front of the kids, and he's just going to repeat the word help in her voice.
As you approach, Click-Clack, place your hand on Encina, reaffirming that you're here to help, that you understand. You stretch your wings out, the beautiful greeny teal bluey of your beautiful feathers shines in this bit of the light that's in this clearing. And you see Finley's eyes light up. He recognizes
Does Finley recognize
the color
Click-Clack?
in your feathers. You see
Tink?
a flash of knowing go across his eyes as the young 6-year-old boy, skinny and so small for his age, comes and just gently touches your face and just says, "Pretty bird." You can give me an insight check here if you'd like.
Come on. Baby needs a nat 20.
Oh!
Can I give the help action?
That's a 1.
Yes, how do you want to support Click Clack?
I think
Because Encina would know Tink.
okay. I think Encina is gonna try to stoke Finley's memory a little bit just by being like, yeah, of course, you remember Tink. You remember Tink and Click Clack, right?
You see as Encina helps to kind of jog the memories of this young boy and jog what he knows and what he remembers. You see he comes up and he's like, "Where's your green?"
Click Clack is gonna kind of tilt his head a little bit. Kind of like just in this moment, not truly understanding what's going on. Too busy thinking about
With all
potential
of these
Tink being
thoughts
here.
and all of these emotions coming up, your wife thinking she was long gone, at you not being able to help her. Thinking back, your wife has more green in her feathers than you do. And from the looks of it, these kids are kind of nearing the end of what would be their first day's journey. So you feel like there's a chance Tink might still be alive.
Click Clack starts looking around wildly, as if thinking like maybe she's with these kids and she's nearby somewhere.
You start whipping around, looking around wildly, thinking, if this kid have seen it so soon, maybe she's close, maybe she got away. You look around and no perception needed here. You don't see her around here. Which means either her feathers, something, is a burning hole in his memory. Or maybe she's back in the clutches of the cult. And maybe they're not so far away after all.
Seeing Click Clack look around the way that he does, Encina looks at Finley and then kind of casts a glance at Suzanne, and then back to Finley and goes, Have you seen the green, little one? Have you seen Tink as of recently?
Susanna thinks for a moment, racking her brain, trying to process which faces she's seen, which faces she hasn't seen. It's been a long day for her. But after a moment, she speaks up. She's like, there was another bird. There's a bird, another kenku, back at the cult village. I don't know, with everybody. She's She's alive. But we rarely see her. She's kept away inside the church.
Well, we happen to be heading past that way. It's very likely we will encounter them again. But it is not our intention to rejoin. It is not our intention to even let them go quietly, if you understand what I'm trying to say. You can stick with us if you'd like. I can't imagine you'd want to lead us back there, but maybe you could lead us in the right direction, and you don't have to get close. Maybe just tell us where to go. And Jezar, I think Xavier said you had some extra food. Could we get these kids some food? They look like they're starving.
You see Jezar immediately takes off his pack and starts taking some of the food out of there. You see he takes out like multiple rations and like stacks of bread and jars of jam, and comes over and actually gives them the half that still has the bag with it, so it's easier for them to carry. And immediately hands it over to Susanna and is like, here, this should get you to the next town. There is a port town. If you head due east, it's only another day's journey from here. And you see he offers them an opportunity to he offers to help kind of build them a small shelter here in the woods to help them get some rest before heading out on what would be the last stretch of a journey, according to Jezar's calculations.
While he's doing that, can Freya walk up and cure wounds them to heal their wounds?
Absolutely. You walk up, you cast Cure Wounds. You see that the wounds, some of the fresher ones on their bodies, start to close and heal, leaving behind scar tissue that blends in with the rest of the faded scars on their bodies. They look to you incredibly grateful for healing them. They, in the moments, weren't realizing how much pain they were in until you healed them of that pain.
Freya will also, just in case they need it, give them some coin for when they get to the next town.
Absolutely. Do you have a number in mind?
I think I'll give them 20 gold.
Okay, that's a healthy sum for two small kids to figure out what their next steps will be. You, as a party, help set up these kids for success. You provide them with aid, with food, with comfort. You see a little bit of the color come back in their skin as they start to see the other side of the hill that they so desperately climbed up. And it is a little bit greener on the other side.
I think, Encina, I'm assuming they're now in this little tent that Jezar helped build for them?
Yes, after he ends up building that up, they kind of immediately start to kind of like settle in. It seems like they are pretty tired as the day starts to fade away here.
Okay, quick question. In the next town over, does Encina know anyone there? Like anyone that she would have done work for?
You roll me a d20. Roll me a luck check. You want a high number. 11 or higher, you do.
Oh, fuck yeah, let's go. Oh, yes, that's a 19.
Oh, yes. So yeah, I would say that you happen to know one of the as someone who travels from place to place looking for odd jobs to fill time and food and wasting time until you move on to the next place. I would think that maybe you would probably know a tavern owner who can accommodate two smaller kids. They go by the name Jameson. And they own a small little tavern just called the Quill and Ink.
Okay. I think Encina's gonna relay that to Susanna and Finley and say, what was the name again? I'm sorry. Jameson, that's what it was. Sorry. Yeah, so Encina's gonna look at Susanna and Finley and be like, listen, when you get to the next town over, there's a little tavern called the Quill and Ink. I know someone there by the name of Jameson. When you get there, tell him Encina sent you. They owe me a pretty big favor after what I did for them, so, if you tell them you're with me, you'll be taken care of.
You see a look of exhaustion, but pure gratitude come across her face as she not only has a fairly protected place with some food to sleep for the night to set her and her brother straight here, but also the promise of safety at the end of the next day. And as these kids start to settle here at the base of this tree and start to fall asleep sitting up as the exhaustion starts to take over their bodies. Is there any last questions you have for these kids? Or anything you'd like to do?
Read them.
No, absolutely not.
All right.
Encina is going to very quietly cast just a prayer, and it's not from the god they know. It's from her god. And she very quietly just asks for their god to look over them, to watch over them, to guide them safely to the next town. And see that, much like they did for her many years ago, see that they are able to start a new life away from what they've been taught, away from the brutality and the coldness of where they came from. And she casts that prayer into the universe, hoping that it will be honored.
And Cena, would you mind if Freya joined you in that?
Of course not. Go ahead.
He doesn't know who you're praying to, but I think he definitely prays to Kai for mercy for the children, the mercy of safety, and of the world leaving them alone on their travels.
You do hear, Freya, I will say very quietly, probably the quietest part of Encina's prayer is, she says, I call upon the steadfast judge of the damned to lead these children to their next destination safely and quietly with no hassle. I wish that you would bestow upon them the possibility for a better life, the possibility to restart and begin again. And I ask that they be given a fair trial in the wake of all the unfairness that they've suffered.
And I think Sorry.
Go ahead, Freya. It's okay.
I think Freya, without knowing if this is true or not, I think Freya will place a hand on Encina's bicep and be like, I know your prayer was heard. Does he really know? No. but I think it's he's giving that vote of confidence that though you are right that the gods intervene when it is convenient, he has hope that this is convenient enough for them to help.
Encina looks at Freya, and you can tell from the expression on her face, Freya, that there's more that she wants to say to you than she is currently ready to, and you can see that very clearly in her expression, but she nods and gives you a genuine smile and goes, "Oh, I know he heard. Because if he didn't, he's going to get his ass kicked."
I think Freya actually does chuckle at that.
Good.
I think Freya looks at you and goes, "And I think I believe you more than I would believe any god telling me otherwise."
Damn right, you should. Because if the gods ain't smoked me down yet, it's going to take a lot more than that.
And I think Freya's just standing by Encina and Click Clack to be support for them.
So, I do want to say, sorry, just real quick. The entire time that like all of this has been going on, Click Clack has not moved. He's completely frozen in place.
I think
after hearing that his
Encina
wife is
will
alive.
just kind of place a hand on Click Clack's shoulder because they don't know the full story of Click Clack's exit from the cult, as if they left about the same time, maybe even the same day, and doesn't know all the details, but understands that this is a lot for Click Clack and just wants to be there. And if Click Clack does want to talk or need something, that she's there.
While that's happening, I think Oriana is going to finally step towards the children, knowing that it's safe to be near them. And I think she's going to pull out 50 gold and hand it to the kids, along with her bedroll, because she doesn't need it. They slept somewhere nice every time. It's just one more thing to carry. And she gives it to them and says, "This should keep you warm tonight and anywhere else you go. And this will make sure that you always have a place to stay and something to eat. It's gonna be okay. You're free now. The world is your oyster." And with that, I think she'll give them a soft smile before moving over to her friends, who are clearly having a time, and placing a hand on Click Clack's shoulder and somewhere on Encina's arm that she can reach, just to kind of offer some comfort to them in this very trying moment, because I'm sure she can tell just from how everyone's been acting, this is very heavy, even though she has no idea or no context of what is actually happening.
Absolutely. You offer comfort and gold in trying to help heal what you don't know is there. As you watch as these two small kids climb into this bedroll together and fall asleep with smiles on their faces. As Freya and Encina finish quietly praying for the safety of these kids, praying to whichever god they want to hear, hoping that they would listen. As you as the sun starts to fade a little bit farther over the mountain and the light starts to get a little bit darker out, you see the shade of a tree perfectly cover the small tent that was created for them and offer them a bit of darkness to aid in their sleep. You all collect your things, regroup after helping these two lost, starving children. You still have the last leg of this journey to go. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
As I'll ever be.
I'd like some more mud.
Take some mud for the road.
Just throw some in my hair.
Yes.
It's very moisturizing.
It is.
I do think as we're walking, Encina is probably going to be talking to Click Clack, or at least trying to start a conversation with Click Clack. So once we get started, once we get started moving and do all of our checks and stuff, we can come back to that.
Absolutely. So, are you going to continue to lead the party?
If they will allow me.
I think I'll lead this
If
time.
someone else wants to take it, they're more than welcome to.
I think you see Freya step up in this moment for the first time traveling to lead.
Xander's going to give you the help action.
Okay. Totally doesn't make me nervous.
Okay.
Can I?
You see
That'd actually be an
as
hindrance.
Xander
Can I also help?
puts
Well,
his
not help, but-
fingers to his lips and lets out a loud whistle, and you see Indy, the Drake Warden, fly above this clearing to help give a little bit of insight. And this is how Xander is giving you the help. He
That's a
walks alongside
21.
you as you search the way forward. And with a 21, you edge closer and closer and closer to your next destination as the sun falls farther and farther from the sky. The canopy no longer giving you this illusion of darkness. It is now dark out, in truth. All of the vines and flowers around you have a slight glow to them as little bugs fly around them that kind of light the night sky around you all. You are very close to Tarnstead. However, you're a little bit still a ways away. Now you have some choices here. You can make one more survival check, and you'll probably make it there. You're super close. But it is dark out, and the night is unforgiving in these forests. Another option is you can set up camp and just head to Tarnstead in the morning. You guys can discuss as a party what you would like to.
I think Oriana will speak up. And I think one thing she'll do to kind of maybe ease the party's worries is she'll pull out. She had put her rapier away, but she pulls it back out. And due to it being a crystal rapier, there is I believe a bonus action I can do with it. Let me double check here before I start talking. Yes. While she's holding the sword, as a bonus action, it can shed light. Up to 30 feet. And she kind of holds it up and says, I don't want to risk meeting what is in this woods tonight. We're not far now. I will be your light if needed. But I would feel better if we continued. But I will do as you guys wish.
Well, I think it might be a little more dangerous to walk through the night.
Nora agrees. Even though he hates the forest, it does make sense to push that last leg and risk meeting whatever is out there in the night.
Encina speaks up and says, I was hoping we'd get to avoid this. I really was, but where we're going, we might need the rest. We might need the preparation for what's ahead, because the group that we're about to run into is, as you can imagine, you've heard us talking, is a cult. And a very extremist cult at that. They are nasty, bloodthirsty. And I used to belong to it. And when they see me, it's gonna be hell. And I have a few spells that could keep me hidden, but it's only gonna last for so long. And it's just me. I think, personally, I would say we spend the night and recuperate and get our bearings about us and maybe make a plan. And that's my vote.
I trust
Knowing-
Cena's insight.
I do as well. And she lowers her rapier and puts it back and says, as much as I don't want to meet what's in these woods, I fear knowing what you've just said is ahead of us even more. And I personally would like to prepare to give them the fury of all the 9 hells when we arrive if needed. Because if they have a slight against one of us, they have a slight against all of us.
Encina smiles at Oriana. It's a little strained, but the intention and the understanding of what Oriana's saying very much does touch Encina's heart, and they nod and they say, I appreciate it, Oriana, because they are many, and they are nasty, so we're gonna need the fury of the 9 hells. And Encina finds that a little ironic.
I think Oriana smiles and says, well, if it's a fight they want, then it's a fight they're going to get. And if we can handle the invasion at Fort Jan, I think we can handle a bloodthirsty cult just fine. And if they're so thirsty, we'll feed them their own blood if we must.
Listen, I'm not saying no to that. There's one of them in particular that's had it coming for a long time.
Then we'll save that one for you.
Excellent.
I may be born and raised in a society that does not agree with violence, but that does not mean I have not trained for it.
Well, they'll put your training to the test, and I trust you, Oriana. I meant everything of what I told you earlier. I ain't going back on that now.
Nor I. So, I think if we're all in agreement, then maybe we should get some sleep, or at least try to rest for a few hours.
I would agree.
Freya is going to look at everyone and be like, I'll take first watch.
I'll take second. I don't really plan on sleeping much since I gave my bedroll away. I thought we'd make
You
a bet.
You can always use mine if you need to. I doubt I'm going to be getting much sleep. Plus, I have someone I need to talk to.
As do I. So, chances are I'll probably just trance for a little bit and get up. Be better that way anyhow.
Sounds
But
good.
thank you.
Of course. If I'm not using it, it's free for use.
Yeah, I felt mine was just taking up space given how we've had a bed almost everywhere we've gone. So,
Makes sense.
plus, the kids needed it more.
Yeah, that was really nice of you, Oriana. I appreciate it.
And I'd do it again.
I know you would.
Thank you.
You're a good kid.
I try, anyhow.
That's all you can do.
That is right.
And trying is a hell of a lot better than not trying.
That is the truth in many of ways. I think most people, well, I think it depends on the person, but I'm glad to see most of us here would at least give it a good, solid chance.
Good old college try, as they say in the old country.
Yes, and as someone who attended Bard College, I can say many people tried. Not many succeeded, but many tried. And that is worth more than those who never do. So.
Absolutely, I agree.
All right, as you all settle in here in the wilds for the night, is there anything you would like to do as far as setting up any type of camp? Does anyone want to make any kind of shelter or campfire? Jezar is helping set up some sort of covering for you guys just in case there's any type of rain or anything like that, while Xander is looking for some wood to start a fire. Does anyone want to do anything in specific?
Freya wants to find the whole group and be able to look out for his watch. As he wants to make sure that everybody can rest and be safe.
Mm-hmm. So you look around to find a good spot for a lookout for your first watch. You find a spot amongst a tree trunk of a tree nearby that has fallen. You're standing on what remains of what is rooted into the ground. That gives you a clear oversight of where you guys have set up for the evening, as well as give you a fairly good view of everything around you. Anybody else have anything in specific they would like to do?
Is this just in setting up camp, or is this in conversations?
Either or, in both.
If that's the case, then I think Oriana is finally going to go over to R and approach him and say, I told you this morning I had something I wanted to give you. If you have a moment, I would like to bestow upon you I guess you could call it a gift.
Please, I have plenty of time.
Well, I never like to intrude, especially moments when we can have a bit of peace to ourselves. I know I find it relaxing at times, but yes. So, you're a musician, and I greatly admired how you put your magic to work when we were at Fort Jan. And something caught my eye when we were in Dawnwich, and, well, it just made me think of you. So, let me grab it. And she reaches into her bag of holding and she pulls out a very ornate looking lute, almost guitar, from her bag that she tried. You can tell it's been worked on. You can tell that there has been things carved in it, some design work to match any bit of design he may have on his clothes, anything that she may have noticed in the way he carries. And you can tell that maybe there's been some spell work on it too, but you can definitely see that it's been altered from its original design. And she says, I wanted to do something to help enhance and make your magic more powerful. So when I saw this, I decided to give it a bit of a personal touch and adorn it with a bit of magic, and hopefully this will help you with whatever's ahead. And I felt this would be a good time to give it, given what our friends have said may be ahead of us. So if it's not too much, I hope you'll accept it. And she holds it out, kind of awkwardly smiling, like, please like this.
R is going to give a soft smile and say, thank you. I appreciate you thinking of me. It is quite a nice gift. I'm sorry I do not have one.
No.
Offer back.
No. Your friendship is enough. I didn't really have many friends growing up, and to have people I can rely on now, even though we've not had much of a chance to get to know each other, I am grateful to have you fighting along my side. And so just knowing I have someone to count on is enough. I don't expect gifts. I don't know how to tell people I appreciate them very well. I may be a bard, but words are hard sometimes. And being honest about those words are even harder. And when you don't know someone for long, it's really hard to kind of articulate that you appreciate them. So I like to give things. So I hope that this is my way of showing I appreciate you being a friend, and that you accepting it is a gift in return. So thank you.
Even if words are fumbled or you can't find the correct ones, your actions speak loudly, and I do appreciate the gift greatly.
You're very welcome. And if you have any questions about the changes I've made, or if you'd like me to maybe change the spells or attune them to what works better for you, I'd be more than happy to. I actually had a lot of fun working on it the other night. I haven't really played with musical instruments when it comes to attuning things, but I had a lot of fun with it. And I hope it'll come into great use. You really did impress me with your playing the other day. I know you said you're not much of a lyricist, but the way you're able to play those tunes so greatly and use them as an attack was just marvelous. So I tried to amplify that. So when you play next time, hopefully it'll do even more damage and you can really give us a show.
Yes, definitely. I will definitely use this. You said that there are certain spells on it already?
Just to enhance, yes. Kind of like an amplifier. So I'm still getting used to artificery. It was not my first world of study, so I'm still attuning to it. But anything I have put on, we can adjust. So I tried to go with just amplifying. Imbuing things with magic is tough. Magic is hard. I'm sure you understand that. But I figured
and
we could.
Very wild.
Yes, it is. I have nearly blown my fingers off doing that. well, I guess I shouldn't be saying that to someone I just gave a gift to and I have a metal arm. Not how I did that, though. No. I didn't blow my own arm off. But I did do my best to imbue magic. I'm still getting used to the whole imbuing thing, and nothing should blow up. No.
Var is now visibly like he's looking at the guitar now. Like, wait, what the fuck?
Oh, you can tell she's like, oh, no. Oh, God. I'm just trying to help. That's all. And she just kind of sits down.
Intensively start trying to strum the strings to see if there is danger. Very passively. And once he confirms that it doesn't blow up on him, he's going to set it to his side, and then again thank Oriana for the gift.
Like, you can see her visibly relax a little bit because she started to second guess herself as she was talking, and she laughs and says, "This is why I say I'm not good with words. I tend to stick my own foot in my mouth a lot. I try to keep it simple. I say a lot of things, but sometimes I question why I chose the art of words to follow. But
well, with all things, practice makes perfect, and as fleeting as words are, and how often we use it in our daily life, you should have plenty of practice as the years go by.
I'd say, now, you once said that, now, I'm not trying to intrude. I know you seem like a very personal person. You've kind of kept to yourself, but you did say that you came from a family that is no longer... Did you also grow up in, not necessarily royalty, but with a title and under the watchful eye of the aristocrats as well?
Ara's going to start playing with the one non-broken antler, just scraping at it. And he's going to start saying, I once was found by a family that took me in. However, due to, let's say, political issues, they are no longer with us.
I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that. No one deserves that.
It is fine. It is not without revenge. And it seems that there's quite a bit of, let's say, events in all of our lives. He gestures to your metallic hand.
Well, yes. I don't think I've told really anyone how this happened, but I was trying to save my father from being attacked. He went down like Freya did. And I got on with him on a scouting mission. And we were ambushed, and I jumped in front of him to save his life. And I was scolded for it. So not only did I lose my arm, but I think I lost the trust of my father. You know, sometimes it's better not to have a blood family, or even a family that you would consider to be blood in a sense. Sometimes it's better to make your own.
R's gonna kind of scoff a little bit and say, I don't mean to make light, but it seems that you did lose something, accomplishing something I was sorely unable to do myself.
No,
Now, there
don't.
might be no right way to get through this crazy world.
No, there isn't. But if I were you, oh well. Let me not say that. Let me say this instead. You did probably what you could at the time. And even if you second guess yourself, you second guess everything you did. We unfortunately cannot change what happened, but we can change how the future continues. And you said revenge. Well, if that's what you need, and that's what's deserved, as long as I'm around, I will help you. I may be called Tuesday's child, and I'm known for being full of grace. But grace comes in many forms, and sometimes grace is selfish. Because even you, even if you may not think it, deserve grace and peace of mind.
Unfortunately, Oriana, deserved does not apply to this. For me, it's revenge for someone who's already gone. Someone who is in the past and will always remain there. For his name will never be uttered by my lips again.
Then do it for you. Do it for their memory. They don't have to be here for you to do it. What matters is that it's done. Avenge them.
Even if it threatens those in our party.
Oh, I already told you I would help you, didn't I?
Well, and thank you for the gift, Oriana, but I am most uncomfortable in this forest, and I think some time to my thoughts is well needed.
Yes, and unfortunately there's another conversation I need to have.
Ar's gonna get up, break off his other horn, and throw it to the ground, and then head to his tent. Or his bedroll.
Alright, well, Ariana's gonna be weird and take it, because that was fucking weird. And in case he wants to put it back on later, she's gonna take it to mend it.
Yes.
I have your hat, sir.
After
Yeah, it's like, I'll hold on to this for you, buddy. I gotcha. We'll healing word this later, man. Yeah.
Just a crumb of hat, sir.
Oh man, I feel like after just back-to-back days of ripping your horns off, I'm gonna have to ask for a Constitution save at this point. This is day 2. I let the first one slide. This is day 2, buddy.
No problem. I am ready.
It has been 0 days since last horn rippage.
Yes.
The ritual must be complete. Let's see. Is it a saving throw or just raw Constitution?
Yes. Save it throw.
Saving. Oh, it doesn't fucking matter. All right. Let's go. That's fun. All right. 21. 20. Is Freya near me?
Yeah, I would say so. It's like you guys are kind of like still within the like light of the fire that has been like set up by Xander. So you're still within like range of his aura.
So 22.
With a 22, it definitely hurts, dude. You know, like this, it ain't, you know, it's not ripping off a scab. It's a little painful, but you are managed to wince it away as a little bit of blood starts to kind of like trickle down into your orange auburn hair, and kind of blends in a little bit with the coloring. Your other horn did the same and has scabbed up since, but it's still raw and tender, and now you have 2 raw, tender, broken antlers.
You know what?
Coming from your
Since we're going to be taking a rest anyway, I want to be using one of my spell slots on the scabbed up one to promote growth, because I need another one to break. So we're going to go with using a cure wounds before I head off to my thoughts.
Beautiful. Absolutely. So you cast a little bit of cure wounds on your antler in specific, trying to promote some growth, to try and reverse some of the damage that you've done and bring your look back to something that resembles what you're used to. You lay your hands on the one that you broke off yesterday, and you feel that the scab starts to harden, and it starts to formulate a little bit of growth on top. You feel like it is starting the reprocess of regrowth.
Right. Thank you.
Beautiful. We have all of this campfire. Does anyone else want to talk to anybody else before we start first watch?
Yes, Encina is gonna talk to Click Clack if Click Clack is available. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I think Encina is wherever Click Clack is at. Encina is going to walk over to Click Clack and sit beside him, not unlike how they sat beside him in King Eros's hall when they were first reuniting, and sits there in a bit of silence for a moment, and then looks at Click Clack and says, "Tink alive?"
When Encina had walked up, Click Clack was kind of just like staring off into the middle distance. He's been like kind of absent-mindedly plucking blades of grass and kind of just braiding them together. Something that he and Tink used to do. And he's kind of just gonna nod at her words as he keeps just like, almost like their friendship bracelets, just keep braiding these blades of grass together.
Aww. I think Encina sees Click Clack doing that, and she goes, We're gonna get it back, alright? Did Click Clack say no?
He didn't,
Oh, sorry.
He's gonna kind of sigh. And he doesn't look at Encina, but he does kind of just look away. Don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to know. I mean, it seems like the kids saw her, but I understand it's hard to really know if she's still there, but I hope she is. And if she is, we'll get her back. We'll bring her back so that, you know, you don't just come home with a cure for a little boy, but you come home with his mom as well.
Click Clack wants to believe Encina's words, but he also knows deep down that if push comes to shove, and he doesn't have the vocabulary to convey this, and like that is frustrating to him, but he knows that when push comes to shove, if he has to, he will still leave Tink behind to save his son, because he knows that's what she would want as well.
Is there any way Encina could kind of like understand that without him having to say anything, maybe from like their previous interactions and when they were both still in the cult?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, go ahead and just give me an insight roll.
Oh.
And you can do this with advantage.
Oh, nice.
Because of your past, your knowing each other.
Thank you. Okay, I'm glad that I get advantage with that, because that was a 2.
Oof.
Okay, not much better.
A 3.
What is that? Encina got an 8.
Confident 8.
An 8. With an 8, you have enough knowledge, not specifically to understand the words that are coming out of Click-Clack's mouth, because you know that Click-Clack has a limited vocabulary and can understand everything, just can't necessarily express it in words. But you can understand his body language and the way that he expresses himself physically to try and express the way that he's feeling in this moment. So I feel like you can pick up on some contextual clues using body language knowledge, but I feel like fully understanding, like reading between the lines of Click-Clack's words is something that Encina hasn't quite grasped yet.
Okay, yeah, that's absolutely fair. I think maybe seeing how Click-Clack is struggling with his limited vocabulary, Encina also shortens her vocabulary, not to be demeaning, but maybe to help and communicate a bit more efficiently. And she says, she kind of thinks for a moment. She goes, "Do the best we can, okay?"
Beep first.
Encina nods and says, "Of course, beep first."
Click-Clack is just gonna nod in response to that. And continue braiding the grass that he's like just plucking from around himself.
I think seeing that, Encina says, "Click-Clack alone?"
He's just gonna nod.
Okay. Encina gets up and lets him have his personal space so he can think about what he needs to think about. And then as she's walking away, she says, "Over here, if you need me." And she points to her bedroll.
He nods again. Just, thank you.
Aw. Encina gives him a little smile and says, "Don't worry about it." And then she walks away to let Click-Clack have his space.
You have this moment of checking in with somebody you know all too well what they're struggling with in this moment, as you both promise each other that no matter what is going to happen through this, that you have each other's backs, and that you, at the very least, understand what's really underneath all of these feelings. Would anybody else like to have any moments with any of our other party members?
Freya would like to ask Woe if she would like to join him on First Watch.
No.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Would you like to talk then?
What?
Freya is going to come up to Woe. He's going to talk to her anyway, even if she doesn't want to do First Watch with him. Because he's been noticing her picking up different things. And he's curious. Though curiosity may get him hurt. He's going to look at you and be like, what exactly have you been picking up on our journey so far?
Is just some food. Do you want?
You told me not to accept gifts. And you know Fae well. As you speak their language, I assume you know them. But I trust you, so sure, why not?
You are... no fun.
What?
Do you speak Sylvain?
Yes.
Then I'm gonna continue talking in Sylvain.
Okay.
Why do you want to be my friend? I see you always trying to strike up a conversation with me, but I do not understand the purpose.
He's gonna respond in Sylvan, and he's going to say, I want to, and his accent does change a little bit when he goes into to Sylvan, and it kind of is close to yours. I want to be your friends because I don't have any, and you are so freely yourself. And I wish to be like that.
I don't understand what you mean freely myself. It's just me, yeah? And you are foolish.
I am foolish.
You seem to be blind to everything around you until it is right in front of your face, but then you act like it is a great epiphany. It is okay to be foolish, just maybe hold back. You do not need to get everything right away. You can wait.
That's...
When we fought the zombies, and you ran headfirst and got knocked down, was nothing but folly.
Yes.
If you want to be my friend, I will accept, but do not act like we are friends.
I have to earn your friendship.
You have to earn your friendship.
Freya doesn't understand that, but he is going to take it and ponder it and listen to what she has said and be okay with not understanding it right away. And he smiles and he goes, "So about the food you were picking up, anything
The
interesting?"
poisonous plants.
Oh, poisonous plants.
Do you want the poisonous plants?
No, I don't want the poisonous plants.
I picked up a lot. It's okay.
What kind of poisonous plants? They may come in handy.
CJ, what kind of poisonous plants? do I have?
So you had found some little pink flowers. You also had collected, I believe, some of the like larger venomous ones that were hanging from the trees, as well as some thorny vines. Go ahead. No, I won't make you roll. Nature's your thing. The little pink flowers are they aren't deadly poisonous, but they are like they bring on like heavy sweats and they are very fruity in nature, like so it's very deceiving in taste. Like it tastes very sweet, but then you end up like with like cold sweats. The thorny vines with the like milky sap that's coming out of them, that is also poisonous. You can use these vines as you could technically use these vines in replacement for any kind of like thorn whip that you use to kind of add a little extra poison damage onto anything that you whip with these vines. And the large venomous ones, upon further inspection, seem to be teeming with the same black inkiness that you had found in some of the infection across your travels.
Do any of the plants I have cause sudden and violent diarrhea?
Roll me a luck check.
Luck.
Do you want high or do you want low? I'll make it your call, but you gotta call it before you roll it.
Okay.
Do you want diarrhea or do you not want diarrhea?
I want diarrhea. Well, I don't want diarrhea. I want whoever
I want to be able to give somebody diarrhea.
I want the ability to bestow that gift.
Fantastic. Okay, so you want high then.
Okay. Nope, I got an 8.
Oh man. So no, you don't happen. You're fresh out of your diarrhea bell flowers.
Sorry, I have none of the ones that will make you shit yourself, but you can have this one. It is for cold sweats.
Perhaps I make a tea for my father when we get back. With this.
Anyone you dislike.
Anyone. I dislike my father a lot.
It tastes good too before you get the cold.
So he will fall for it wholeheartedly. That is good.
Yes. He won't even know why he's having the cold sweats. He will probably think he's about to shit himself.
And perhaps he will. Who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky.
Now,
Thank you, Will.
You are welcome. Go on your watch. I will go to sleep.
Yes, sleep well. And Freya will trot over to where he was sitting, or where he will be sitting.
When Freya walks away and Woe lays down to go to sleep, you might hear some quiet whimpering.
Oh, my heart.
Oh.
I think Freya just, instead of checking on her, will allow her to be alone. If she needs it. But he's gonna sit down and he's gonna take out some like meat from the rations to like feed Beater and stuff like that.
You position yourself up on this watch stump that you found, taking pieces of your rations to feed to your small little ferret friend that has come along on this long and tedious journey with you, offering you moral support from your jacket pocket as you kind of sit and ponder the words that woe bestowed upon you. You don't necessarily notice as you're lost in thought and lost in feeding Viter that Xander has joined you for the first watch.
I don't think I notice until he sits down.
I think actually the first thing you would notice is the pressing of Indy curling up behind your back.
Hello, Indy.
You hear and feel a deep rumble from within the rib cage of this creature as it settles in and turns into a small, round ball of just scales and snoring. And Xander sits next to you, and he's like, I think, with a party this size, it is wise to have at least 2 people on watch.
It is smart. But, I don't make smart decisions a lot. Which is why I almost died before we got to Stornwich.
But you didn't die.
No, I did not die, and I'm very lucky, and I think I'm over that fact. Now, I think I am more nervous around you. That's okay to admit to somebody, right?
He kind of chuckles and laughs a little bit, stifling himself to try and keep himself quiet. And laughs. He's like, "You're doing great."
Vote of confidence, thanks. You see he's like opening his mouth to go say something and then stopping himself and then thinking and then like freezing again, and Freya just goes, I was on my way to talk to you when your father brought us and grouped us up again. I didn't want you to think that I was ignoring you.
No, of course not. This is your journey. I'm only here to accompany. I didn't see you tending to the needs of your friends as ignoring me.
Yes. Well, all of us have our needs, obviously. I don't want you to get hurt. And that became obvious in my mind when your father said that you were coming with us.
A Well, I'd be lying if I was saying that I wasn't a little scared out here. This is my first journey officially on paper. My father knows the dangers out here. And you can see the air quotes around the officially, as you very well know that they like to escape on Indy frequently.
I know very well.
I think there's always the lingering fear and worry of what if something bad happened? What if no one was around to help, or what if I was not strong enough to help those around me? And then I found myself pondering this for days and not acting, not flying on Indy, not living my life, not seeing the things that are around me. Sometimes the fear of the unknown and the fear of going down is what blinds us. We have to be willing to put our fears aside and go for what we want to achieve, what's good and what's right. How else are we going to find true passion? How else are we going to find anything out there?
Well, I do know that it's easy to find a person dancing among the stars in your dreams, and that by some magic they become real and are right in front of you, and make the night sky one of your most favorite things to see. And that those dreams are the reason you're not afraid to go down. You're not afraid to jump into action. Because it gives you something else besides those that are with you to protect.
And it's with following these dreams and following these feelings that led you to flying last night in the sky with me. It was your courage. You weren't thinking then about whether this was dangerous, whether you could die. You could have easily fallen off, but were you thinking about that?
I wasn't allowed to think about
No.
it.
Because you were too busy enjoying life, enjoying the... Oh, he pauses as you spit out you. You notice the starry freckles on his cheeks start to glow with a little bit more red in their light than yellow.
You glow when you blush.
He blushes further into that and starts to kind of like say, it's like, knock it off, all right? Like, just stop pointing it out. It's just gonna get worse if you just keep pointing it out.
It's better than the actual sky.
He turns and looks at you, scooches a little bit closer towards you as you're a little bit farther away from the campfire here. And moves his hand closer to yours. And he's like, you see the things that can happen when you are brave, Ardflaith?
I don't think Freya responds, and I think Freya's very brave and leans forward and kisses him.
He accepts and kisses you back. In this moment, the crackling fireplace behind you, and your fellow party members, and your family, and your friends getting the well-deserved rest nearby as the forest creaks and chirps around you, and Indy softly snores just behind you.
I think Freya like departs from the kiss. It's not like abrupt, but he's like, we should be keeping watch. Distracted eyes mean things get through. It's a welcome distraction, but
as you pull away, fighting every urge in your body to not continue in this moment and focus on the job and the task that you have set for yourselves and to keep watch. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Sure. Okay, what do I have to perception? That's a 19.
A 19. As you pull away from this moment, take a moment to look around you and reassess the situation that you're in. Time has really flown by in these moments as you've chosen to take first watch here. And as you look around, you see that it is nature, so it is not the same, but it is not completely undisturbed where you feel like things have happened around you. You feel like in this moment you are safe from harm and that nothing has become of you or your party for the first half of the night. I believe Oriana volunteered for second watch. Am I correct?
You are correct.
So Freya, you walk over to Oriana to wake her gently and get her for the second part of the night watch shift as Xander goes and wakes Jezar for the second half of the watch shift.
Yeah.
And you get some well-deserved rest alongside your mother and your friends and this new spark in your life. Oriana, you wake to Freya gently waking you. A small start, but he's very gentle in his movements, not to disturb you too much. You head up to the stump that he points out as a good viewing point for the camp that you have set up, as well as the surrounding areas. And as you wake up, you do see that Xander is also waking up Jezar to join you.
So I think Oriana, noticing that, just kind of ignores it and thanks Freya for waking her and rubs the last bit of sleep from her eyes as she heads over to take her place on the stump and begins just kind of surveying the night of the forest, just kind of taking it all in, kind of just taking deep breaths to hopefully distract herself or ready herself for what is to come of either having watch with Jezar or simply what may be lurking.
You gather yourself in the wee hours of the early morning here in this thick, dense jungle of a forest. And gather yourself up to conduct the second half of this watch. As you can see behind you just the very, very, very faint approaching light. The sky is just ever so lighter. Not so much. It's just the beginning of the day starting to creep up on you. This is not unusual for Oriana to be up around this time. Oriana is used to late night projects and staying up and watching the dawn break as she is creating and finishing on her latest project. It is not unheard of for Oriana to get a solid 5 and feel pretty good the next day. So you're not absolutely exhausted up here. But as you settle in, Jezar comes, keeps about 2 feet of distance in between you guys. Enough where he feels like he's giving you some space and not encrowding on you and where you're sitting, but also enough to be close to you and hear you and speak to you. And before you have a moment to really even give him a thought that he's sitting there next to you. After everything, after him leaving with no word, just no writing back after letter being sent, just trying to figure out why. Why did he go? Why? He breaks the silence with, Oriana, I'm so sorry. And I don't want you to forgive me. Because what I did, I didn't do anything. And that's what I did. I didn't do anything. I just let life happen, and it pulled me away from the happiest days that I can remember. And all I can say to you right now is I'm sorry, and I know it's not good enough.
Takes a moment. And she doesn't look at him as she ponders his words. And she says, Jezar, forgiving is the easy part. I know life happens, and I forgave you long ago. I think what bothers me is, as you said, you didn't do anything. You claim to be the happiest days of your lives, and yet you didn't do anything. You chose to forget. You chose to leave me there. And maybe you're right too. You clearly had something else planned for yourself. A life that wasn't locked in a cage, like mine. So, who am I to judge your choices? I had a chance to leave if I had just made better choices. If I had been like my sister or my brother. But instead I decided to do what I believed was best for myself, and I stand by those choices. And I stand by the choice I made to let you in. However, I made mistakes afterwards, thinking that you would care enough to return my letters, or even tried to go find you once. I didn't get very far. Not before the horse got spooked and I fell.
This was not the life that I had planned. This is not what I want out of life.
Then why are you doing it? I ask that, and yet, I lived until this happened. I was thinking of ways to escape, and I was making plans. But it was all in a process. However, you didn't have the same restrictions I did. So, if I may be so bold to ask, then why are you doing what you don't want to do? Why are you being someone you don't want to be?
Brianna, can I please have a persuasion check from you?
Absolutely. Let me double check what my modifiers are on that. Do I get Freya's plus or anything like that? Are we like in the circle, or is it too far away? If they're too far away, that's fine. But
You're probably over 10 feet away, yeah.
Definitely over 10 feet. Okay, cool. That's fine. I still get my +1 from my Luckstone. So. Persuasion. Okay. Don't really need it because I got a 15 plus 6, which makes that a 21 plus 1 will be 22.
Holy crap. Alright. Dope. So, he ponders for a moment, thinking if he should be fully honest, if that's what you need right now, with pressure of everything already here. You see the pondering on his face as he looks to you, and he's like, I didn't have a choice in leaving you. You were always the future, I imagine. You were the star in my night sky. And your parents paid my parents a hefty sum of money to send me away to be the young prince's squire. I sent note after note. I imagine they were probably burned by your... I do not wish to speak ill on your family. They treated me well. But I cannot see them. I do not know what they would do if I were to ever... And my parents and your parents made sure that you were always under their thumb. You always have. I want nothing more than to let you fly. You see tears start to well up in his eyes. And with no insight check needed, you know this is the truth.
She sits there for a moment, marinating in his words. Her jaw is clenched tight. The anger just pours from her. Anger towards her parents. Anger towards him. So much anger. And I think she will take a moment before she speaks. And she won't look at him. Not yet. But she says, You know, you did have a choice, Jezar. Everyone has a choice. You could have run away, and maybe that would have cost you everything. But there's always a way out, in one way or another. We were young, maybe you just didn't see it. But I ran away at one point trying to get to you, because I too believed you were my future. But then I began to believe that I couldn't rely on someone else to get me out, to open my cage. And that's not why I cared for you now. You were my first real friend. And I will be forever grateful for you. And I understand how our parents can be, but I too believe you could have done something more. And maybe I'm wrong for believing that, but I'm not surprised by my parents' actions, and you shouldn't be either. Of course, they paid him off. Anything that brings me happiness, they'll get rid of. Which is why I'm never going home, and that's a choice I've made. Maybe this isn't the life you wanted, but it's a good life. And what you do with it here, I'm sure you'll make the most of it. You have your escape now, too. You maybe just be a squire, but you can grow with this prince. And he can give you something more than your parents ever could. So, maybe it's not the fates or the destinies we believed in, but maybe it's the fates and destinies we need. I do wish I could have heard from you. And I thank you for the truth, but in the end, we are where we are now, and we can only move forward. And believe me when I say it destroyed me. Never hear from you. But I don't think I could have made it to this point or survived as well as I have without it. Heartache prepares us for the world. After all.
He nods with a feeling of true understanding. And he looks to you and says, I understand. Life must always move forward. And looking back on what did or did not happen only brings up old wounds. But I did feel like you should have heard the truth, and I'm glad you heard the truth. I do feel like probably was not the best timing on my part. I, however, don't expect you to hear me when I plead this case. But I will say, in defense of my own honor, I did try everything to get back home to you.
As I said, Jezza,
After
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I told you. Forgiving you is the easy part. And I'm sure you did, knowing the truth now. It wasn't like you to be quiet. You never were when I was around. So, I believe that you really tried, but once again, we can only do so much. At least I got to hear it, instead of spending my whole life wondering. I did suspect my parents had a play in it. Paying is, however, dirtier than I expected from them, but, once again, they would do anything to protect the children. And there's a bit of venom when she says that, by the way. She's clearly very, as she said to everybody at this point, very bitter at her parents.
Yes, it is hard to hide the bitterness already with the past that you have experienced, not knowing the knowledge that now lies at your feet. It's only more fuel to this fire of what more do I not know about these people who claim they just want to protect me. You sit here with Jazar, helping you keep watch. Go ahead and give me a survival check.
Yes.
For the night.
Okay. Oh, thank God. Okay, got a 19 plus 4. That's going to be a 23. Plus my luck stone's going to be a 24. Whew.
The sky grows lighter and lighter as the stars fade into the sky. The clouds becoming visible through the pieces of the canopy that you can see. Campfire slowly just becoming embers over time as you all benefit from a long rest and find yourself on the morning of the next day and just a few short hours from Tarnstead. And this is where we're going to end our episode.
Throwing up forever.
Yeah.
Throwing up
Gay
so
rights
much.
and trauma.
Yeah. All wrapped up in one beautiful campfire.
Stop, I flirted better than I ever flirted in my life in that conversation.
Everybody was fighting for their lives in all of these conversations. We got so much on everybody. Such a good episode, guys. I loved everything
I
about
talked
it.
to every PC except for one that I wanted to talk to. So I'm happy.
Yes, and we still have so much time to talk to people. As you guys are truly super, super close to Tarnstead, you will reach there before noon tomorrow. And Derek, where can we find all of these episodes, and where can they hear more about when the next episode's coming out?
You can find us on any platform that has podcasts on it. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Samsung Podcasts, Spotify. I believe even some of our episodes have been ported to our YouTube channel. But you can find out more information about where and when to find our episodes on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and also it is ready now. We do have a Tumblr that has a whole bunch of lore and information on it. So if y'all want to find out more world lore and information on like the campaigns and the characters and everything like that, there is a Tumblr. It's Queers and Spears. It's www.tumblr.com/queersandspearsdnd, I believe. But you can find all of that information in our link tree on any of our socials. And also there may be a Patreon and a Discord in the works, but who knows? We'll tell you that when that happens. Also keep an eye out for our campaign 2 start date announcement on all of our social medias, and also keep an eye out on teasers for a little God Killer series we're doing later on in the year. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. And if CJ, if you have anything to say, lead us on it.
Everybody, it's going to be a long night. Have a great rest of your night.
Good night.
Bye.
Eat your teeth.
Eat your teeth.
Not eat your teeth.
No! They don't taste nice.